For anyone who's followed this channel for quite some time, you guys already know that there are two main decks that, maybe two or three, that get a lot of love on this channel. And one of them is Mekk-Knights. Mekk-Knights or Mekk-Knight Invoked, either way. Those decks get a lot of love. And you guys have been blowing me up in the comments of even my own videos of Dogmatica Invoked with Dragoon and other things and telling me, Slim, where's Mekk-Knight Invoke Dragoon? Well, it's right here, you guys. That's right. We're going to give you guys what you wanted, and that is my updated Mekk-Knight Invoked list featuring Red Eyes Dragoon. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. That way you guys will be notified when I upload. You guys will be notified when I stream over on Twitch. Link is in the description. As always, if you want to build this deck yourself and purchase any cards, please use my TCG player link. It's in the description below. A portion of what you spend will go back to the channel. It helps me out, and I do appreciate it. You guys have been on me like never before to, profile Mekk-Knights and show you guys what I've been doing with Mekk-Knights, how I've updated them. Obviously, this isn't the pure build yet, but we are going to be working on that. But with the inclusion of Dragoon, the deck is just insane. Basically, you swapped out the Neos engine for this. While I still really like the Neos engine, and honestly, I wish I could play both. Like, you guys don't know how bad I wish I could play both engines, but playing that many bricks is just not necessary, and Dragoon is just the superior card in so many ways. But I'll show you guys what I come up with. It was brought to my attention just how good this deck is going second. A lot of people question why we run Dragoon in Dogmatica. It's mostly because if you want to play the Dogmatica engine, but for a strictly going second deck, I feel this is probably one of the strongest going second decks that can play Dragoon and really emphasize what the card can do going second, because I know everyone focuses on Dragoon as strictly a going first card, but let me tell you, going second and cracking a board with Dragoon, in addition to your Mekk-Knights, Macabre, etc., is absolutely insane. So we'll get into it, and hopefully you guys do enjoy. As always, please smash that like button. You guys have been killing it lately, and it really does help the algorithm, and trust me guys, it means a lot to me, and I do appreciate it. But anyways, let's get into our deck profile. Of course, we start with 3 of the All-Star. How many times have I shown this card in the last couple months? It's kind of ridiculous. This is me. If I could be a card, I'd probably want to be Alistair. I think Alistair's a guy. I don't know. If he's not, well, whatever. Alistair is Bay. Alistair is the way. Alistair the All-Star, he just does everything, you guys. This card is incredible. One card Macabre just sets up everything for your invoke cards. On to some of my other favorite cards in the game. Easily some of my favorite cards in the game. I got the Mekk-Knights, baby. I got triple purple, my personal favorite. I've got 2 copies of blue and the 1 copy of Indigo Eclipse. Now I know what you guys are saying, Slim, that's all you're playing for Mekk-Knights. Yes, in this particular build. Believe it or not, this is a 40 card build, you guys. And let me tell you, it took a lot of time. I talked to a lot of people. Shout out to my brother Mike Nugent, you already know. He gave me a lot of insight on the deck, as well as I saw some lists in the Mekk-Knight as well as the Invoked groups on Facebook. Like, if you guys aren't part of those groups, you should join them. Now granted, you're not going to always get the best advice and maybe not get the best posts and stuff, but people are genuinely there to help you because you all share the same interest in the deck. So trust me, take and absorb as much information as you can from those groups as possible. It really helps out. This is my old Mekk-Knight lineup. For those of you that have watched me play Mekk-Knight Invoked for ages, all the regional success I've had with it, getting multiple invites, doing really well, in events and stuff with this deck. This has been my go-to lineup ever since I started, and I went back to it because I wanted to keep the deck a clean 40 and still play every extender and things I wanted. These Mekk-Knights are perfect at this ratio. I'm going to show you some other cards and stuff that I did omit from this deck to keep it at 40. If you do want to change the Mekk-Knight lineup when I show you guys other options, you can, but for me this has been the best. Purple is just insane. Blue just helps you search your Indigo and possibly another copy of purple if you get that far. But since this is just a pseudo extender engine, I felt that this was the perfect number. The only other one I did consider was yellow, but I figured, again, I want to keep it at 40 cards for you guys, make it as consistent as possible to get to Verde and get to Dragoon. So that's where we ended up on the Mekk-Knights. And then the rest, of course, is hand traps. You've seen all of these hand traps. It's Ash Blossom, it's Gamma, and it's Driver. Unfortunately, these are the hand traps you're going to see in pretty much all my decks because these are the best hand traps. There is no way around it. These are the best hand traps right now. Gamma is still insane. The fact that it's also a light for Macabre has so much synergy. Gamma is just great. If you start the game and say you're forced to go first and you literally go activate Meltdown and they ash it and you chain Gamma, you win. You make your Verde right there. It's ridiculous. Or I don't even know if you make your Verde there, but you do whatever. you need to do. Like, you literally get free bodies on the board. Like, you can't use the vanilla to make it, but you literally get Gamma on board, and then you can summon Alistair, and then that and Gamma can be your Verde. It's like crazy. Plus you have a 2500 beater, so it's nuts. Going second, like, it's just ridiculous. You just crack through something, get 2 free monsters on the board. Like, that's just insane to me. Like, it's 3500 damage by itself if you do clear a board, so they're not without their charm. And then I'm still playing the Korobane. I really like this from my previous list. This is a card that, along with the Light Stage, I wanted to keep in the deck. I just felt it was very solid. A free summon that helps you make Verde is fantastic. And then, of course, Faithful Servant and Joey's signature card. You guys already know. You got to play the vanillas, play cool versions of them. You'll feel better about them if you unfortunately draw them. But they're there to make Dragoon, and Dragoon is broken. So it warrants their inclusion. That's it for the monsters. Spells real quick. Of course, Triple Meltdown. Please don't touch this card, Konami. I got this feeling in the back of my head that this card might go to 1. I mean, the deck will still be playable, don't get me wrong, but going from 3 to 1 would really suck. But hey, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! I gotta accept it. Meltdown's crazy. 2 copies of Invocation because we're not playing Desires. You guys should know what the draw card is. I'm gonna just show you right now. We're playing 3 talent. This ratio is perfect. 3-2 is fine. So on to the talent. So I am playing 3 talent as well as 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. This is why a lot of people were getting mad and saying, why aren't you talking about Mech Knights? You guys should know how I operate. There always will be a Mech Knight invoked profile. Even when you guys remind me, there will still be one. This card is ridiculous. It's a normal spell. You can set it to create your Mech Knight combo columns. This card is also just, it's so easy to activate in this deck because, especially when you're going first or even going second, like the opponent is going to go after Alistair. The opponent is going to go after the Red Eyes Fusion. The opponent is going to go after your Mech Knights or anything. I can't say how many times, like, I try to spin with purple and they negate it, or I try to activate blue to get a plus and they negate it. You chain talent to get your draw 2 or look at their hand and get rid of something, or even better, take their Dragoon, because this card can take Dragoon when it negates something. Like, this card is absolutely insane in this deck and it's fantastic. Droplets is also crazy. It gives us a way to main deck a pseudo Dark Ruler no more, but still lets us attack and still lets us win the game, and this card is just nuts. Being able to send Alistair as well to set up our invocation play is ridiculous. It can also get lights in the grave depending on what you send. Opponent can't respond to it. It's easily one of the best cards in the game, and it's fantastic in this particular deck, so it's a definite inclusion. I know this deck isn't budget. I told you guys multiple times, purchase these cards using my TCG player link in the description below, and to make sure that you just have them, because they're just very good cards. Even if online Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the only way right now, you'll see a difference as soon as we get to play in real life again. Now to the rest of the spells. So, believe it or not, this might be the most cuttable card, and I know you guys are like, what? So I went back and forth of if I wanted to play Cyclone or this. I mostly decided on this just because this is more bang for my buck. Now, I know what people are going to say, you know, you have face-up cards, obviously it's not good. Well, the way this card has always been played in Mech Knight Invoke, you just activate this to just blow them out first. I could see myself possibly cutting this or switching to Cyclone. I just needed to do more testing. For me, this was fine. I only chose 2 copies. Again, I wanted to keep the deck at 40. This card is great though, obviously. It's a total blowout against back row decks, and I personally feel that because of Dragoon coming out, we're going to see more Guru Dragoon, we're going to see more Guru Altergeist decks. There's going to be a lot of back row decks, and being able to just blow up the board with this is crazy, or being able to not blow up the whole back row board is great too. So that's why I included it. But if you don't have access to these, play Cosmic Cyclone. I think that card is great. The only downside to Cyclone, it being a quick play, if you set it, you can't activate it, whereas Lightning Storm, if it does come up, like if you set this, summon a purple, spin purple away, and then activate this, it's kind of a nifty little trick. It's happened a couple times, but yeah, that card, believe it or not, it's great, but I'm just not 100% sure if it'll stay in the deck forever. But I got 2 copies of Red Eyes Fusion, so originally I was playing 1. I decided to play 2 kind of for the same reason. In the last Mech Knight Invoke list you guys saw, I upped the count of Neo's Fusion to 2. It gives you the option to, if you hard draw it or if one is negated, you can still utilize Verde in that sense. If one is negated, you still have another in the deck to send with Verde. You still have that option because you don't have any way to recycle it, so I thought that 2 is probably a good number. I've never really been a huge fan of 2-ofs, but in a 40 card deck it's fine. Again, I wanted to keep the deck as consistent as possible, and I feel this way you could possibly open one, or you could potentially just send it with Verde, and that's kind of what you want to do in order to summon your Red Eyes Dragoon. And even if they limit Red Eyes Fusion to 1, it's fine. We'll still play the 1. And then lastly, I've got the Trickstar Light Stage that goes with the Korobane, also locks a back row, which is absolutely ridiculous, and the terraforming because we play 4 field spells, so it gives us a chance to see them. I'm not playing set rotation. I possibly might test it out in the future if I cut the lightning storms or something. I just really don't. I didn't feel like I needed to give my opponent a field spell. Like, I know how important it is to get to Alistair and all that, but in a 40 card list, I think as consistent as we've kept it, it's fine, especially since we're going second, we get that extra card. And then I had to include Mind Control. It's my favorite spell card, like, basically in the game. I just couldn't play this deck without it. It's at 1 for a reason. This card is broken. It can just help you link climb and just basically kill your opponent. So this card is fantastic. Baits in a gate like it's nobody's business. And you could also set it to make your columns. So card is amazing. That's it for the spells. And then the only trap is the triple impermanence. Again, the best hand traps are Ash, Imperm, and Gamma, so I had to make sure they were all in the list. So that is a clean 40 cards. Onto the extra deck real quick. Of course, the boss man himself, Red Eyes Dragoon. This card is broken. You only need 1. I don't think a second one would come up even with 2 fusion in the deck. 2 copies of Makaba, the copy of Purgatrio, and the copy of Agodius. This has basically become the staple lineup for Invoke monsters. No reason to change any of this. I think they're all broken. They all do great things for this deck. Very easy to set up. I've got, of course, the 1-card Makaba combo. You already know that combo. We are playing the Mad Invoker, so while we are not playing 3 Invocation, the reason we're playing this is the ability to become Alistair while on the field or in the graveyard. That does come up a lot for people who don't know. If you recycle your Alistairs and aren't able to summon them and you have this Engraver on board, you can still Invocate. You also sometimes can grab that second copy of Invocation and really OTK your opponent, so that's why it's in there. Of course, Verde Anaconda, people think this card will get banned. It might. I think this card is insane for the deck. Cross Sheep, I still play Cross Sheep. The reason I do this, it helps you link climb very easily, and one of the main cards you're climbing into is the Unicorn. I'm not playing Selene in this build, however, we are still playing Access Code Talker, but I felt that I want the ability to spin something with Unicorn. It feels more versatile to me. Also, we're not playing that many spellcasters in the main deck since we're not playing Dogmatica cards or no Veiler or anything, so I felt that this was fine, and I just really like the interruption Unicorn can make. And then my favorite link, this card does come up quite easily in this deck. You can make it very easily in this deck. Cross Sheep getting a monster plus a Mech Knight, just plus one of your bigger Mech Knights just makes it. This card's very hard for back row decks to out, so card is amazing. And then, like I mentioned, the Access Code Talker, because while we don't play Selene, all we have to do is link climb into it with like Cross Sheep, some of our links, and you can just OTK the opponent with it. It helps you OTK as well, so card is great. And then the last thing I decided to do was include the targets for Maximus. I'm still respecting Dogmatica and Maximus. Now, while I said people don't get as trigger happy, if they do, if they think you're not playing the targets, it's good to have it. Elder Entity to disrupt and Nova to summon a Makaba. Like, how insane would that be? You're playing against them, they're going first, they're going off, you send Entis to destroy something, send Nova to summon a Makaba, then on your turn you're summoning a second Makaba, you're summoning a Dragoon. Like, they literally cannot win the game at that point, so it's pretty crazy. But that is what I decided to do on the extra deck. And lastly, the cards that I didn't include but are something I'm definitely going to test. I do possibly want to add Morningstar to the deck, and if I do, it will be added with these. It will be added with the third copy of blue, the copy of yellow, and the secrets. I'm going to test this out more going forward, so do expect changes to this list in the future. This is just the first version of the deck. I really like these cards. I like what they've done for me in the past with the deck. I just didn't want to play over 40 in this certain build, but I'll probably change it up as the format progresses. But this is a great extra engine that you can play. Another card is set rotation and stuff like that, extra lightning storms, whatever you guys want to play. But I think overall the deck is very solid. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. What do you think about Mech Knight Invoked featuring Dragoon in this format? I originally thought that it wasn't going to be as good because of the fact that Dragoon would be so solid going first, but the fact that you can capitalize on this card going first or going second is fantastic, and I really enjoy it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Comment anything down below about the deck, and let me know your thoughts on this deck going forward in future formats. That's all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching.